All right, here we're going to go over sketching the graph of some trig functions. We're going to show at least one cycle and label key points. So let's see what we have here. What's notable is we have a 3 that gives that's in front of the cosine. That gives an amplitude of a equals 3. And then what else do we have? We have this 2, and that will affect the period. The period is p equals 2 pi divided by the coefficient of x. That's the way it works. That gives pi. Now I do something which I don't really usually see at all, is I write down the quarter period, and the quarter period is self-explanatory. It's 1/4 of the period. P over 4 equals pi over 4. Why do I like to do that? Because that is how I find the key points. My key points, I'm going to start at 0 because this hasn't been shifted. There's no shift. And so this is my start. And then I add the quarter period. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. Has a little bit of a Dr. Seuss sound to it. So there's 5 key points. And the last one, if I start at 0, will be the period. I start at 0 and I go to pi. So, and I want to reach those fractions. So 2/4 is pi over 2, and then 4/4 is pi. So what am I doing each time? I'm adding the quarter period. Now, I believe that if I decide to use graph paper, I can get a nice graph, but also I sometimes feel that I sort of freeze up or something, and I have a harder time in a way doing it. I especially have trouble it's not trouble, but it makes it a little more difficult if I want the X and Y axis to be to scale. And actually, I think I'm going to just not do that because like most graphing programs don't do that. So I'm going to make a wave, and I'm going to make it go through these key points. So my key points are the maximum of one cycle, the minimum one cycle, and the x-intercepts. In general, there's some exceptions to what I just said, but okay. So what I see is I have 0, 1/4, 2/4, which is pi over 2, 3/4, and 4/4, which is pi. So do you see what I mean by the period is from 0 to pi, and then quarter period is 1/4 of that. And the key points are evenly spaced so that in between each of the key points is our quarter period. That for me is enough. Now, notice, like I said, I'm not doing this to scale. I'm just going to say that's 3 and -3. I'm just going to do that because I sort of freeze up, or I just anyway, my what I'm going to say is, for my way out of this, is I telling you, if you look at most computer programs and you throw in sketch the graph of this, they're not going to make the distances on the x and y axis to scale. And pi is around 3. So okay, anyway, are there any questions about that, or any comments? Hey, that's wrong. Does that seem okay? So the two things that we saw here is that the amplitude is 3, that's the coefficient of x, and that the period is 2 pi divided by 2. 2 is the coefficient of x. Okay, so I think I said it wrong in the beginning. 3 is the number that's sitting in front of cosine. Let's say it's the coefficient of cosine, and 2 is the coefficient of x. All right, so that finishes that.